So namaste to all from India and across the world for the 7th session of Viability, a 12-week vocational diversity speaker series conceived by our District 3190 vocational service team led by Rotarian Dr. P.M. Radhakrishna. Friends, on behalf of our DG Rotarian Nagendra Prasad, District 3190 vocational service team and lead club Rotary Bangalore Whitefield Central, I am Manoj Kabre, welcoming you all. We have carefully curated this series to bring selected speakers who have done some excellent work in their vocation and are able to share their extensive knowledge with us. We are very honored to have today's speaker, Dr. Chetan Singh Solanki, who is also called the Solar Man of India or Solar Gandhi. Special welcome to our chief guest today, IPP and Charter President of Rotary OSS, Rotarian Hemant Sharma. I would like to make a special mention of 10 guest clubs who have partnered with us for today's event. Warm welcome to all the Rotarians as well as friends of Rotary. We are very pleased to see that because of the network of Rotarians, there are a lot of friends of Rotary who are joining us on these weekly session. Our vocational service team at District 3190 believes in our Prime Minister Shri Narendra Modi's vision. The more we give importance to skill development, the more competent will be our youth. Friends, this team led by our vocational service director, Dr. P.M. Radhakrishna, comprises of subcommittees such as Vocational Diversity and Awards, VTT and Friendship Exchange, Skill Development, Startup and Entrepreneurship, Four-Way Test, Business Development, Career Advancement of Rotarians, Career Guidance, People of Action, and Rotary Action Groups. So in days to come, you would be able to see and hear to a lot of such additional programs. With that short introduction, may I now request Rotarian Nitin to introduce our speaker for the day.
Nitin ji, please unmute yourself. Nitin ji, please unmute yourself.
Okay. Is it fine now?
Yeah.
Good evening, everyone. Welcome to 7th speaker meeting of Viability. Today we have renowned Professor Chetan Singh Solanki ji as our speaker for the day, who is very famously known by the famous Times of India magazine and newspaper as the Solar Man of India. Professor Solanki, in his childhood, has studied by the very famous saying of burning the midnight oil, studying under the kerosene and lantern in traditional villages. He is an eminent Ph.D. from IMEC, Belgium, and he has led major energy and solar urja projects across the country. Professor Solanki has authored 7 books and published about 100 research papers internationally, as well as he has 4 US patents to his credit, which is not a small task these days. He also refers as Solar Gandhi and coined the word energy Swaraj as per the movement led by Gandhi, which means that freedom from energy. This movement is a stepping stone towards energy access as well as energy sustainability and climate change mitigation. For me, this much introduction is also very small enough. I would rather let the speaker itself, Professor Solanki ji, to speak about himself and take it forward. Thank you.
All right. Thank you very much. Good evening, everyone. It is really my pleasure to be here with you this evening and talking to you about how to have a really new look at the energy and sustainability. So thank you, Manoj ji, for inviting me. Thank you, Nitin ji, for giving such a kind introduction. I'm going to share my screen. Let me see. Okay, wonderful. So I'll take about 40 minutes to go through this. And I have been working in this field of energy for a really long time, doing a lot of projects. But my understanding so far that we do not understand the sustainability or even the renewable energy. So therefore, that is why I have titled this as a new look at the renewable energy and the sustainability. What I'm going to do is going to talk on various part of it. But one thing I would like to make sure before we start is that hope that all of you are happy. That is number one condition that I always put on all my students, that it is very difficult to talk to the people who are, sitting there with the serious faces. So I hope you are all happy to see someone from IIT Bombay to listen and enjoy the talk. What I'm going to do is I'm going to bring you in a way a new sense or a refreshing sense of how the world is today that we are living in, and how the energy is the driver of our life, how the energy is related to the climate change, which is a major problem that we are facing, and probably what could be the solution. So I'll take you through this point. Just to begin with, let me show you this image, and I guess many of you would have seen this. This is image of our universe. So this is where we live in. Each bright spot that you see here in this image is nothing but our the galaxies, and there are millions of galaxies in the entire universe, and only one galaxy is ours, and we call it Milky Way. Our galaxy looks something like this. The Milky Way again is made up of billions of stars, literally, and there are many new stars people are still finding. And our sun is only one among the billion stars in the galaxy. And our sun is not in the center of this galaxy, by the way. Our sun is somewhere here below, down in the middle, a very tiny dot that you see. And around our sun also there are many planets that are revolving. And only one little tiny planet is ours. Our planet is Earth. You can see how small it is in terms of the size of other planets and in terms of the size of the sun. So very, very tiny. It is 109 times smaller than the sun. And around the Earth also, there is a very thin layer, the blue layer that you see here, where the human life is possible. So you can imagine, among the billions and billions of stars that are there in the galaxies and the planets, there is only one planet where human life is possible. Within that planet, there is only thin layer where human life is possible. Isn't it a very, very precious space where we are living in? And if it is so precious that it is one among the billion, how expensive it is this? We should really be taking care of this space, the blue space that we have. And within this blue space, there used to be a beautiful clean water. There used to be nice flora and fauna. There used to be a dense jungle. There used to be clean rivers, and there used to be very fertile soil. I'm using the word used to be, which means that they're not the same anymore. The water has changed, the forest has changed, the river has changed, the air has changed. Everything which is natural on this planet has changed. We can't call it anymore. So I remember I come from a small village, and I used to go with my mother in early childhood just to fetch the water from the river. We used to just fill our vessel, bring it home, keep it, and start drinking it, without even any filtering or anything like that. Today, you can't afford to drink a glass of water from Ganga or Yamuna, isn't it? So much has changed that we can't do that. The rivers are polluted. The forest cover has reduced by 40%. The air quality is poor in most of the metros. The soil quality has degraded. So every natural element that is nurturing our life has been degrading very fast in the modern times. Why it is happening so? Because we have learned to use energy. Since the time we have learned to use energy, since the industrial era began in 1850s or so, when we started how to use coal, how to use petrol, how to use diesel, something has changed, right? So because energy has helped us to drive our life faster, better, bigger, or that is what we imagine, right? So energy has become a driver of our life, whether it is a social life, whether it is economic life, everything is driven by energy. And rightly so, because there is a correlationship that exists between energy and other indicators in our social and economic life. So this image shows the nice relationship. There are 17 SDGs, or Sustainable Development Goals. So each of the Sustainable Development Goals, whether it's poverty, hunger, health, education, gender, water, sanitation, everything has a direct and positive correlationship with energy. So increase your energy consumption, your hunger will reduce. Increase your energy consumption, health become better. Increase energy consumption, the literacy rate will go up. Increase your energy consumption, the economy will grow, GDP will grow, everything is positive. So that's great, But there is a problem there, that the goal number 13, the climate change, and the goal number 7, which is in the center of all, is in the exactly opposite of each other. So if you want to provide energy access to everyone, the modern energy, sustainable energy to everyone, we need to increase our energy consumption. On the other hand, if you want to reduce the climate change, we should reduce our energy consumption, because 80% of the energy that we are consuming today in the world comes from the fossil fuel, the carbon. And every time carbon is burned, there is an emission of carbon dioxide. And the carbon dioxide has a life of about 10 to 200 years. It remains in the atmosphere. Carbon dioxide is a greenhouse gas. As a result of that, what it does, it actually does the same job as warming the planet. So if you're sitting in the car and close the windows and switch off your AC, you will immediately realize what is global warming. So whatever happens inside your car with a closed window and AC off, exactly the same thing is happening at a major scale on our planet, and it is getting warm. Why it is happening? As I said, energy has become the driver of our life. And look at this graph about what is happening in terms of the CO2, the carbon dioxide emission. So the carbon dioxide was a constant in the atmosphere. The concentration is given in what is called ppm, the parts per million. So the carbon dioxide concentration in the atmosphere was given as a ppm. And pre-industrial era, this graph is plotted for 1000 years. In the pre-industrial era, the concentration was around 280 parts per million. But now the concentration is, first of all, it is increasing, but look at the rate at which it is increasing. Look, exponential rate. It is increasing very fast. And the current concentration of the carbon dioxide is around 410 to 415 parts per million. So 45% increase in the CO2 in our atmosphere. And of course, it will do what it is supposed to do. It will do the global warming, the warming at a major scale, which is what is not a good idea. And all over the world, people and scientists are suggesting to reduce the carbon dioxide concentration. And in fact, there was a very famous Paris Agreement in 2015, where all countries in the world agreed to reduce the CO2 concentration or CO2 emission by about 45% till 2030. So in the next 10 years, we should be cutting down on CO2 emission by 45%. By the way, this is with reference to 2015. And now since 2015, our CO2 has still increased. So there is a tremendous task ahead of us in very short time. In just 10 years, imagine we have to cut down our emission by 50%. Why? Because if we do not do that, our global warming will go beyond 1.5 degrees centigrade. And this report came the year before, 2018, by the United Nations, the global warming of 1.5 degrees centigrade. So it very clearly writes down that we need to cut down on this, because the planet is already warmer by about 1 degree, and it should stop at 1.5 degree ideally, if not 2 degrees centigrade. What is so special thing about 1.5 degrees is that once we cross this 1.5 to 2 degree range, the environment will become irreversible. You cannot bring the change back. Whatever you do after that, our planet will not be the same anymore. So there used to be time, as per this graph, that by 2040, we are going to hit the number of 1.5 degrees centigrade. Then there was another report that came that not 2040, by 2030, we are going to hit 1.5 degrees centigrade. And I was shocked to see this report, which came last month from the WMO, the World Meteorological Organization. It says that there is a 20% chance that one of the next 5 years will be at least 1.5 degrees centigrade warmer than the pre-industrial levels, but the chance is increasing with time. Isn't it very scary that how fast we are approaching the global warming, and because of the global warming, the climate has changed, and the change is visible and experienced by everyone. Last year I went around the world. You ask anybody, without whether it is he or she is literate or not, do you feel a change in the weather pattern that used to be there? And everybody will say yes, something has changed. So the heat is on. There's another report that has come in. The world is not listening. The world is not understanding. The heat is on. In fact, instead of cutting down on the CO2 emission, there is a growth in the CO2 emission by about 1.7%. And this report says that whatever CO2 concentration that is observed in our atmosphere has not been recorded in the last 800,000 years history of the planet. So something is terribly wrong, and I think the 99% people do not realize how terrible it is, the current climate. And I hope I am able to make a sense to people who are listening to me today that something is terribly wrong. Not only that we are very wrong in terms of the emissions, but also every other resource of the planet is in a problem. As I said, water, air, food, soil, river, forest, everything. So there is a concept called Overshoot Day, Earth Overshoot Day. Whatever resources Earth can regenerate in 1 year, the Earth can regenerate amount of oxygen in 1 year, amount of soil in 1 year, amount of water in 1 year, whatever it can regenerate in 1 year, how many days we consume to use those resources. Ideally, when we are in perfectly balanced, whatever we generate in 1 year, we should consume in 1 year. So the Earth Overshoot Day should come on December 31st, isn't it? But look at this graph below. It says that even way back in 1977, the Earth Overshoot Day came 60 days ahead of time. And last year in 2019, the Earth Overshoot Day was on 29th July, which means that from 29th July till the end of the year, almost 155 days, we lived on the resources which were not ours, which are not regenerated, which are taken from somebody else, which are borrowed from somebody else. Or even the better word is, it is stolen from somebody else. And I always give example, if you give 100 rupees to someone and return the 100 rupees, if you take 100 rupees from someone and return the 100 rupees, then you say that you have taken a loan from someone, right? But if you take 100 rupees from someone but never return it, what do you call it? Stealing, right? So we have learned how to take water from the ground, underground, but we have not learned how to replenish it, right? As a result of that, water table is going down. We have learned how to cut the trees, but we have not learned how to plant it. So the forest cover is going down. We have learned how to emit the pollutants in the atmosphere, but we do not know how to clean it. So the air is getting polluted. Everything is polluted. So therefore, even from this perspective, we are the big thieves. And this table shows that how the resources on a per capita basis is continuously degrading, whether it's land, forest cover, fresh water, everything is degrading on per capita basis. So because of all this activity we humans are doing, we have changed the world that we are living in. And many times we do not realize how dangerous animals we have become on this planet. We do not realize how much energy that we are consuming and causing the emission of carbon dioxide. And let me give a very simple example of brushing your teeth. And I'm sure everybody who's listening to me is, brush their teeth every day, morning, evening. Imagine how much energy that you consume in just one single activity. Now, for example, somebody has to manufacture the toothpaste for you. The toothpaste is not manufactured where you are living. It is manufactured, 100, 200, 500,000 kilometers away. And then it has to be packed. That is to manufacture. Then it has to be transported. The energy goes into that. Then it has to be stored in some mall or some shop so that you you can pick up. So while it is stored, energy is being spent, then you go drive to the shop or mall and pick up the toothpaste and bring it to your house. Look at the amount of journey that it has traveled and the kind of emission that it has caused. The same journey is also to be traveled by the toothbrush. It is same thing. Not only toothbrush, your wash machine is a ceramic, and to melt the ceramic and make the wash machine, it requires tremendous amount of energy. Your glass on which you are seeing your face is a quartz. It also very high temperature material. And then you have to make the pipes, and then you have to pump the water all the way, 10 stories, 20 stories. And then you can actually brush your teeth, which is few minutes activity. Imagine everything else that we do in our life, how much energy we are consuming. Because we are consuming energy, we have changed the status of the world, and I want to show you how our world today is. So this is an image of the forest fires in Australia, and right now those who are reading what is happening in the California, similar pictures, right? That the forest of millions of hectares is burning and burning and burning. Nobody's in control, right? It's such a huge scale that even the powerful nations like Australia and America cannot control it, right? So that is one side of the planet. On the other side, this is an image of a Venice in Italy, that it got flooded. It got flooded not because of the rains that were there, but the sea water just came in and it remained in the city for a long time. This is an image of the continent, the Europe, which is beautiful, cold continent. We always have a nice pictures and the videos about the Europe in our Bollywood movies, snowfall and all. But imagine the temperatures going to 45.8 degrees centigrade in the France, 45.8 degrees centigrade, isn't it? Which is unheard. Imagine what happens. We know those who are living in North knows what it means to have a temperature in summer of 45, 46, 47 degrees centigrade. Exactly on the opposite side, the hot and dry continent, the Middle East, supposed to be desert, witnesses snowfall, and in the last year. So you see how things are changing and reversing. This is an image of our Rashtrapati Bhavan. We know how bad the air quality was there in Delhi, and it remained like that for many days. This is an image of not a parking lot or anything. It is an image of a traffic jam in Delhi Gurgaon highway. So this is because of all these events. We have changed the composition of the climate, the atmosphere, and that we are causing a major difference. But why we are doing it? I believe that we do not even understand what we are doing. We do not understand what sustainability is all about, how to create the balance. And we would have hundreds and thousands of conferences, workshop on sustainability, and we humans have become like a parrot. We keep talking about sustainability, but we never understand what does it mean. Had it been the case that we are understanding, that we are not behaving the way we are behaving right now. So what is sustainability? Is very simple. Your consumption has to be equal to your generation, right? Very simple example is whatever money that you are earning in a month should be equal to the expenses that you are making in a month. And suppose you start spending more money than you earn, you need to borrow from someone, and you can borrow for 1 month, 2 months, 5 months, 1 year, but eventually you are going to break down. And if our consumption of earth resources is more than it can generate, the system is also going to break down one day. So here I would like to bring Gandhiji, and he said very clearly that we may utilize the gifts of the nature just as we choose, but in her books, debits are always equal to the credits. There is no balance in the either column. It is always, so this is the balance. It should be there in the nature, but we are all missing in a major way and not understanding the balance. So Gandhiji went on to say, he said, I suggest that we are thieves in a way. Hum sab log chor hain. And if I take anything that I do not need from my own immediate use and keep it, I thieve it from somebody else. Whatever I need, I do not need, and if I use it, I store it, I'm thieving it from somebody else. And that is a fundamental law of nature. और जब तक ये सब होता रहेगा, there will be pauperism in the world, and there will be starvation in the world. And that is what we see. That दुनिया में गरीबी भी है, भुखमरी भी है, अभी भी है. इतना सब होने के बाद भी 21st century में भी है. Why? Because we have not learned the meaning in the word sustainability and living it. So Gandhiji very famously said, he said, earth provides enough to satisfy every man's need, but not every man's greed. There is only enough for satisfying every man's need. And because everything is finite on this planet, air, water, land, soil, forest, everything is finite. And therefore, our consumption should also be finite, isn't it? But there is no limit on any consumption. No politician, no policy makers, no bureaucrat puts any limit on consumption. So if I do not have enough money, I will take bath with 1 bucket of water. If I have more money, I will take bath in the shower. If I have even more money, I will take bath in the bathtub. If I have more money, I will actually make my own swimming pool. And even more money, I will make a big Olympic-sized swimming pool. So we are not learning and understanding what sustainability is all about. Therefore, we actually do not put any limit on the consumption, where there is a problem now. And therefore, based on what Gandhiji said, Gandhiji was not a scientist, and therefore he could not formulate the laws as the Einstein and Newton does. But I'm taking a risk and putting his words into some kind of law. So I call it as the first fundamental law of sustainability. And we can write it as, in an ecosystem of finite resources, there can only be finite consumption. No matter what you're doing, there has to be a finite consumption. If we are violating this law, and we do violate this law day and night, then we are going to suffer one day. Nobody can save us from that. So let me give an example of the last year when the economy was slowing down. And India Today wrote this nice article, The Crash of 2019, and it says the auto industry is in the midst of the severe slump, and we need a policy intervention to revive it and to avoid the protracted crisis. We need some policy intervention. Why? Because so much is the production, nobody is buying it, or less people are buying it, so we need to push it. So whenever something like this happens, and this keeps happening in our economic system, isn't it? 2008 something will happen, 2015 something will happen, 2 years down the line something will happen. So economy crisis will keep coming. And what does the government do in such situation? Reduce the interest rate, reduce the repo rate, pump more money into the market, increase the liquidity. That is what we do. So it comes to the point that I believe that we do not understand what the crisis is. As the case, we do not understand what the sustainability is. We do not understand what is it the crisis is. So what is in the crisis? Having a car not sold is a crisis, or having a car sold is a crisis, right? So if we currently look at economic model, having a car not sold is a crisis. But if you look at from the sustainability perspective, from the equity perspective, from the long-term future perspective, having a car sold is a crisis, because the car sold will actually be more trouble, more emission, everything more you need to make the roads, and everything is more. So I think let us understand what is the crisis of the world today. And if you are not going to understand, we are not going to take the right action. And if you are not going to take the right action, we are not going to solve this problem of the climate change, which is there right in front of us right now. And it is such a big problem that one organization, one government cannot solve it. So Gandhiji, I want to bring in the second point, and a very important point, and why such a problem is there in the world. He said, I would categorically state my conviction that the mania of mass production is responsible for the world crisis. Gandhi जी ने 1934 में बोला था कि ये जो mass production का पागलपन है, ये responsible है world crisis के लिए. Okay, and he actually gave the solution. He said, when the production and consumption both become localized, production is also localized, consumption is also localized, the temptation to speed up the production indefinitely at any price disappears. All the endless difficulties and the problems of our present economic system presents too would also then come to the end. The present economic system will go on having these difficulties that we need to produce more, we need to consume more, we need to push more, we need to sell more. All this problem will go away if your consumption and production becomes localized. And that is what the whole idea of Gram Swaraj. Unfortunately, we have not followed his model, and we went in a different direction. So he again famously said, not the mass production, but production by masses is required to, production by masses is required. So the question is, can we really do this, and why it is required? Because whenever we do the mass production, it always results in unequal distribution, you know. So when we produce in the masses, the benefit only goes to the company and the shareholders of the company, but the loss goes to everyone else. The environmental pollution is everybody suffering. The river pollution, everybody is suffering. The air pollution, everybody will suffer. The benefit goes to few. So at the benefit of few, everybody else suffer when we do the mass production, which is not a good idea. And because when it comes to energy, the people are living in a distributed manner. The resources are distributed in the nature, and therefore production should also be distributed in the nature. And therefore, based on this and the Gandhian philosophy, I dared to write a second fundamental law of sustainability, that is, an ecosystem of finite resources, there can only be distributed production. You cannot afford to have the centralized production. If you are going to do that, you are going to suffer, and that is what we are going to see. So these two fundamental laws are the laws of sustainability, and we cannot afford to violate this. So the question is, because energy is such a major driver of our life, can we apply this law into the energy, and can we locally generate and fulfill our own energy consumption? And I'm going to give a small example that we have done in our project at IIT Bombay. We call it a SOLS project, Solar Urja, which is energy through localization for sustainability. So what we have done it in 2012, the kerosene consumption of the country was huge. In fact, the amount of subsidy that time that were going in the kerosene consumption was in the range of 25 to 30,000 crore rupees. And I was thinking that, you know, why so much of money to be spent? Why can't we give solar lamp to everyone? So since 2012, I have been working, identifying the problems of the solar lamp program, why it doesn't spread everywhere, why every kerosene lamp is not replaced by the solar lamp, and so on. So we figured out there is a problem of the availability of the material. We figured out there's a problem of the local technical know-how and the cost of it. So the localization is a solution for many things, that we train local community to assemble the product, sell the product, maintain the product, so that your cost of operation goes down, your local repair and maintenance capacity increases, and the overall cost of the product also decreases. So what we have done, we have actually trained women to identify the various components, the battery, the panel, the circuit, so that they could figure out a component is good or not good. Then we gave them training how to solder the components together to make a solar product. And our very famous product is the solar lamp. And then they would actually make this lamp, earn money from making the lamp. Some women who are smart will actually go out and sell the lamp at a subsidized rate. And then because they are capable of identifying each and every component, they can also repair the lamp. And it has become very, very successful program. We have gone one step ahead, and we have given them training how to install the entire house. So that everything can be done on the solar, and they could actually install the entire house. Not only that, we went one step further and helped them to start. Sorry? So start the module manufacturing. And so this module manufacturing unit is now in the Dungarpur, where women are doing everything, right from the cell assembly, stringing, taping, layout, everything is done by women. And the CEO of this company is actually 8th pass Rukmani Devi, and she takes care of everything, and she is in fact aware about the dollar fluctuation rate, because sometimes the material, it is very important to do that. And there are several such units which are already coming in. So this has been a very successful program. We have reached to 8.5 million households across the 10 states, which are shown here in the center. And we have covered about 40,000 villages. Not only that, there are many assembly centers that have started, and more than 1,000 solar shops are running right now, where women are selling all kinds of solar products at the market rate without using any subsidy or so. And this was a very famous program, also awarded by Prime Minister of India as an innovative project. So the next question is, now this is only example of a solar lamp and fulfilling a small light, but can we apply this and do the bigger house, and the entire house and the power can be generated from that? So in this today's world, what could be the way forward when we are dealing with the climate change at one side and the energy at the other side, energy security, energy sustainability, everything is to be taken care. So therefore, I brought this idea of energy Swaraj as a scenario where locals generate and consume their own energy needs using local renewable energy solution. By the way, the country like India is a very energy poor country. We import 85% of our crude oil. We import coal, almost 200 million tons every year. We import gas. We import nuclear fuel also. In fact, we import hydroelectricity. So when we look at the resources, we are a very energy poor country, and therefore we spend a lot of money, bringing the energy, buying this energy. You will be surprised to know that 50% of our foreign exchange that we earn from the export, 50% of that the foreign exchange goes in importing energy. So that brings a question of energy security of the country and the sovereignty. So can we do the energy Swaraj, and everywhere can we generate and fulfill our own energy needs? So the question comes whether it is technologically viable, feasible, whether it is economically viable, whether it is environmentally friendly, institutionally doable, socially acceptable. And answer is definitely yes. That technologically, I have done my Ph.D. in solar 20 years back. I know how advanced the solar cell technology is right now. And I think it is among the few technology which are very close to the ideal efficiency. And so many times people have this misconception that we need to further increase the efficiency before it becomes viable. I mean, of course, any increase in efficiency, good idea, but we do not have to wait for it. Second thing, economic viability is there. People are able to sell the solar electricity to the government at the rate about 2.5 to 3 rupees, which is much lower than the domestic electricity rates, much lower than the industrial electricity rates, and therefore it is economically viable and definitely environmentally friendly, institutionally doable, socially acceptable. So there are all parameters are right. We can accept it and adopt it as a major So last year, we presented the idea of Energy Swaraj to the IEEE global competition, and after several rounds, we won a major award of $100,000. I have donated this award and created this Energy Swaraj Foundation with the motto of energy by locals for locals. So it's a not-for-profit organization. We are working to promote and asking people to do this, except the Energy Swaraj. Now, before we do that, I think it is very important that we have the right approach for adopting to Energy Swaraj. So what is the approach? I have written in my book also that I have written. First thing is we need to learn how to avoid use of energy, even if it is solar energy. I say avoid use of energy, even if it is solar energy, because solar energy is also not a zero carbon footprint. There is always some amount of carbon emission that takes place. So first thing you should do is avoid use of energy. And at my home, we do not use refrigerator, we do not use washing machine, we do not use geyser. And it's very easy for us to manage our energy needs like that. So 1/3 of energy, you can avoid it. If you cannot avoid it, minimize it. How do you minimize it? You can minimize it by using very efficient appliances. LED is a great example that you can actually run and get the same light output with a very little energy output, energy input. Similarly, there is a BLDC fans are there. You can actually run a fan at 25 watt of consumption, not a 60 watt or 70 watt or 50 watt. You can actually run an LED TV. You can have 5-star refrigerator. All kind of appliances exist today where you can use it at much lesser energy consumption. So 1/3 energy you should avoid it. Another 1/3 you should minimize it. And if you cannot minimize and avoid, then the last option you should generate. So I call this as the AMG principle. You should follow AMG. And if you're not going to follow, you have to say OMG, oh my God, solar is very expensive. Oh my God, rooftop space is not there and this is not there. All kind of excuses will come if you do not follow AMG. And if you do that, attain the Energy Swaraj, I think we as an individual, we as a society, we as a country, and we as a planet are going to benefit from it. Because once you localize the energy solution, there are lots of benefits that the local people will get skill development. Because local person is going to provide the solution, there is a livelihood creation. Because the money is going to circulate in local economy, so local economy will become stronger. We become independent of energy. As I said, India imports a lot of energy, so we can actually become independent in energy. at a social level, at the country level, we will get the confidence in technology, and that will actually give way out to the many other technology, like cooking solutions, for example. Still a lot of wood is being used in the country, in the world, and a lot of people die because of the pollution related health issues. Energy discipline will come, energy security will come, sustainability will come, climate change mitigation will happen. Can you imagine just adopting one single approach? There can be so many benefits of doing it. And therefore our approach at Energy Swaraj Foundation is surrender electricity connection. There cannot be any better way of doing that you have to become a disciplined user of the energy. And once you surrender, I have shown that how solar energy can fulfill all your energy requirement. So you can switch 100% to solar. I also believe that the governments around the world, and no matter how powerful the governments are, they do not have the capacity to solve this problem, because the governments are elected for a very short time, the 4 years and 5 years. And solving the climate change requires a really long-term thinking, long-term vision, and long-term commitment, which no government can afford to make. And therefore, I believe that we need to really go away from the government and rely on ourselves, that the public at large should understand and do it. And therefore, we believe that we need some kind of energy Swaraj as a movement is required, so that people come forward and go beyond economics. That there is a need to do it, because we want to save the planet for our future generation, so that they do not actually live in a scared world. So we need some kind of public movement, and that is what Energy Swaraj Foundation is launching. Last year, I went around the world. I visited some 30 countries as part of my Gandhi Global Solar Yatra. And we have trained 9.25 lakh students on a single day on Gandhi Jayanti. And we also made several Guinness World Records. And we know that there is no planet B. And I told you that how precious the planet is where we are living in. There is no planet B, and we need to save this planet A where we are living in. So what I have done is I have taken a long leave, unpaid leave from IIT Bombay. And I'm going to take up what is called Energy Swaraj Yatra to save the planet A. So from November middle onwards till 2030, I will be traveling in this bus we are designing. The bus will have all kind of training facility, demonstration facility, but it will also have the living facility. So I will be living inside the bus for 11 years, go around the country, talk to millions of people and bring them on board so that they can surrender and adopt to Energy Swaraj and the sustainable energy solution. Also on 2nd October, we are doing this program webinar from 10 a.m. to 1 p.m., which is titled as Role of Youth in Attaining Atmanirbhar Bharat in Energy. And I invite all of you. In fact, I have requested Manojji whether we can collaborate so that we can spread this message. There's a wonderful panel which is going to be there. A lot of competitions are being organized. A lot of thumb rules I'm going to give to people so that you can get the thumb rule for the whole life. Once you know this thumb rule, you can design your own solar system. So Principal Scientific Advisor to Prime Minister Dr. Vijay will be there. Diya Mirza, the actress, will be there. The granddaughter of Mahatma Gandhi, Ila Gandhi, will be there. The Padma Vibhushan, Dr. Anil Kakodkar will be there. Director IIT Bombay will be there. So it's a beautiful program that is already set, and I encourage all of you to go to this link and register yourself. There is a small 50 rupees as a registration fees there. Also, because Energy Swaraj we want to create as a movement, and no movement is possible without the fund. So we are requesting people to be with us for 11 years. Donate even a 1 rupee per month, but donate it till next 11 years so that we can successfully save the planet from the major climate change. So with this, I would like to really thank everyone for listening to me, and thank Rotary Club to invite me. Thanks Manojji for contacting me and making me part of this evening today. Thank you very much. It is my pleasure to be answer your questions.
Wonderful. I think excellent, Dr. Chetan. I think it was such an engrossing speech, I would say, and such a talk that it allowed us all to introspect into ourselves and look at what we could do. So let me request Nitin to take the discussion forward for moderating the questions. Nitin? Can I request everyone to be on mute, please? And request everyone to put their questions into the chat box. There are already a couple of questions, Nitin, if you may want to look at them. So one of the first question, Dr. Chetan, is what are the rules of selling the solar power generated to the grid?
Well, first of all, up to 1 megawatt anybody can generate. It doesn't require any permission, but there are policies from the government where any third party can buy the solar power that you're generating if you're doing it in a large scale. But if you're doing it at a rooftop in your own house, that you can just connect to the grid and you can exchange the power to the grid. Right now, the norms are not very attractive that you can sell the power to the discoms, especially at the rooftop. But it provides an opportunity so that you don't have to store yourself, and the grid becomes your storage medium. So if you're doing a business at the large scale, there are opportunities where the government allows you to sell it to any third party. And you can use the government's infrastructure of the grid to use it.
Okay, great. There's another question from a designer. As a product designer, I feel rooftop model should be more user-friendly design for use. That's a question.
Yes, I mean, as I said, surrender electricity connection. So forget about anything. You have your own car, you have your own refrigerator, have your own power system also. Why do we have to depend on others, right? So forget about any connection, this, and just generate your own electricity as much as you want. And as I said earlier, first avoid use of energy, even if it is solar energy, and then minimize it. And then you will realize that solar is so cheap and it's so much doable. So the best thing is do not have any interference from anybody else and forget it and don't pay any bills. How beautiful it is. How beautiful it is to not to pay any electricity bill.
That sounds so simple to hear, but I'm not sure if everyone is able to even absorb that particular suggestion of yours. But yeah, that's really great. Ashutosh Mehra is asking, sir, what is the first step you recommend towards Solar Swaraj?
Well, I think the first step is that, we say our children that, many of you must be saying, you must have said a million times by now, I love you, we love you, right? So first of all, make sure that you actually love, right? Because our activities, whatever we are doing, it is causing damage to the environment where our children are going to. So the very simple thing is forget about Swaraj or anything. Make sure that you do not create a problem for the future of your future, that is your children. So just become aware that how dangerous we are. I always say, and if I give me 2 minutes, I'll say, I always say that the humans of today has the 3 characteristics. Number 1, the humans of today are the most dangerous animal on the planet. Nobody is more dangerous than the humans. So much so that it has changed its own climate, right? And second thing, humans of today are the most stupid animal on the planet because we know the Sikh chili की कहानी कि जिस branch पे बैठे हैं उसी को काट रहे हैं. जो नेचर हमें नर्चर करता है हमारी लाइफ को, हवा, पानी, मिट्टी, जंगल, उसी को हम खराब कर रहे हैं. So we are also very stupid. And third thing, we are also the most ignorant animal on the planet. I keep asking, how many of you use solar energy? तो कोई लोग हाथ खड़ा नहीं करते because लोगों को लगता है जब तक सोलर पैनल यूज नहीं किया सोलर एनर्जी का यूज नहीं हुआ. Then I have to remind them कि अच्छा खाना नहीं खाते हो क्या, पानी नहीं पीते हो क्या, कपड़े बालकनी में नहीं सुखाते हो, is that not use of solar energy? So our life and our existence is solar energy. Forget about the solar panel. But we are so ignorant that we do not realize. We realize only solar panel is solar energy. So most dangerous, most stupid and the most ignorant, ऐसे प्राणी से भगवान ही बचाए.
So, Dr. Chetan, as you know, Rotarians are people of action. So here is Rotarian Kiran Neve from RC Grape City who has announced, please accept my donation ₹1 per day, 365 into 11, that is 4015.
Thank you so much, Kiranji. Thank you so much.
Let me know how to transfer the funds.
Yeah, so if you go to our website, energyswaraj.org/donate, you will find the interface and from where you can do that. So thank you so much for coming forward. It is really a pleasure to hear that that action is being already taken.
Yes, I'm sure a lot of further action also will happen. How did you get CO2 data for hundreds of years going back to 1000 AD? This is a question from Vasant Chandra.
Yeah, so there is a very well defined science of doing it. So basically, what people do is people actually go to the ice cores and you keep digging the ice cores, and then the ice actually traps the whatever the condition of the atmosphere at that time. And the deeper you go, you can find the ice cores, they make very, very old ice cores. And that is how scientists figure out the CO2 levels in the atmosphere.
Wonderful. There are a lot of appreciations for you, Dr. Chetan, but I will also tell you a lot of questions that are coming. There are a lot of questions. I'm not sure how much we can cover in the time available, but let me make my best attempt. How about combination of solar and wind?
Well, anything is good, combination of solar, wind, solar, bio, only wind, anything that works in that locality is a perfect solution. So one has to figure out based on the local resources available. So if there is a wind solution, is there, great. Unfortunately, the wind solution at the small scale has not been very cheap. Of course, if we do a megawatt scale, 5 megawatt, 2 megawatt, then it is very much viable. But 2 kilowatt level, 3 kilowatt, 5 kilowatt level, the wind unfortunately has not come down into the cost. And if somebody can figure out that, I think it will be a wonderful combination of solar and wind, especially in the monsoon season. By the way, many people feel that what will happen in the monsoon, what will happen to my electricity generation in the monsoon? And I have uploaded one of the video in the solar. So by the way, there is a solar news and knowledge YouTube channel where we keep adding a lot of information. There's a free course right now, which is there to design your own solar system for homes. So I have actually done experiment while it is drizzling, raining, and demonstrated that even while it is raining, it generates electricity. So yes, it will generate less electricity, but it generates electricity so that if you over design, you can take care of all your needs 12 months in a year.
Wonderful, wonderful. That's a great news. What are the objectives you plan to achieve by 2030 through this Yatra that you spoke about? Deepak Arora is asking this question.
Deepak ji, thank you for asking this question. I'm going to tell the objective, but if you feel that I'm crazy, that's nice, because I realize that only when you are crazy, you can think of such numbers.
Correct.
So our first objective is that we need to bring this awareness to 1 billion people. So 13% of the world population we need to educate on energy and the climate correlationship. We need to give hands-on training. Whole our idea is that everybody should do something with the hands. Solar के साथ कुछ तो करना है. तो अपने last time में 9.25 lakh बच्चों को solar lamp बनाना सिखाएं. It was huge event. We can actually continue to do that. Solar toys, solar car, solar diya, solar, all kind of things. So we want to train 100 million people, giving them hands-on knowledge. Then we have the target of 10 million household to bring out of the grid. So 10 million, मतलब 1 crore घरों से बिजली connection कटवाना है. And I hope many of you will be joining me in surrendering your electricity connection. और 1 lakh ये buy local for local करना है. So we don't want foundation to go and do the solution everywhere. We want local people to provide the solution. तो 1 lakh लोगों को entrepreneur बनाना है, और साथ में 50 देशों में policy change लेके आना, because a lot of African countries are not yet electrified, and this is wonderful way to have the decentralized generation. So if you make the policy changes, not only it will be cheaper to provide electricity, it will be more sustainable, more job creating, and more equalizing. And also because at one side, if you put solar panel and on the other side, we cut the plants and trees, it doesn't make sense. So we have made a target कि 33 करोड़ देवता हैं भारत में, तो 33 करोड़ देवताओं के लिए 33 करोड़ पौधे भी लगाना है. So one of our initiative is plantation, and we have already created a structure. How do we do it? So that is also going on. All this will require ये सबके लिए 1 लाख करोड़ रुपए का fund चाहिए, and we don't have that. But I'm sure, I believe that it will come, and we will be able to circulate that and achieve our numbers with everybody's contribution.
Great. So one more kind of message from our vocational service director, Dr. Radhakrishna. Again, another people of action thing. We have Grama Lakshmi project running, focusing on producing locally for local. So the initiatives described by you perfectly get with our initiative. So we are ready to kickstart solar lamp and related projects in Karnataka.
Wonderful.
So that is an initiative. We
right now, one of the other thing that we are launching is the Ye Diwali Solar Wali.
Yes.
So basically, we have made a solar diya, which people actually can assemble their locality, and then you can sell it. This is beautiful. It has a solar powered diya. It is automatically switches on when it is when the sunset is there, and it will switch off automatically. So we are trying to make Diwali also very clean and green, not importing things from outside, from China, for example. And many of you can actually go to again our website energyswaraj.org and figure out, and you can also make your own Diwali with the solar. But if you want to initiate this as a livelihood project, you can also do that.
Okay. What is the best way to store solar energy for ideal usage? And any idea about the cost?
Well, the storage is, of course, the currently storage available is the electrochemistry, that is the battery. That is the best way to store it. The cost varies depending on what size of the storage that you want. So, for example, large size lead acid is still a perfect in terms of the cost and viability. But the smaller size, you can use the lithium ferrophosphate and lithium polymer batteries also.
Okay, I have heard that the energy generated by installing solar panels is just 2.17% of the Sahara Desert. Is that enough to run the whole world?
Well, I mean, you will be surprised if you do a simple maths. You don't need 2.2% of Sahara Desert. A area of 100 kilometer by 60 kilometer. By the way, India's surface area is about 3.2 million square kilometer. And among this, out of this area, if you just install solar panel in 100 kilometer by 60 kilometer, you will fulfill all electricity needs of the country. Isn't it amazing? So actually, another misconception people have that we need large area, which is again not correct. There's enough area available. Very small area usage on the planet will ensure that we can fulfill 100% of our energy requirements.
Okay, another people of action, President Kavita Dagaonkar from Nasik Grape City. She has announced 2 rupee per day donation to you. So
thank you very much.
Go on their website and do. And she also has a question. She says, I'm a panel manufacturer for ABB and Crompton. Can I manufacture solar product also?
Oh yes, absolutely. I mean, so there are many products we are trying to make it as available as an open source. So for example, this solar lamp that I showed. Nobody has any right on this. It's available in public domain. Entire design of the body, the circuit, everything is in public domain. You're most welcome to just download and start manufacturing. And the good thing is you don't have to pay any royalty.
Yeah, I think that's a wonderful proposal. Would your van have some kit selling from the van or with local vendors on a cooperative basis similar to Amul? Can we have a distribution conduit deep into every corner of the country through a well-oiled distribution system? Example on the lines of defense canteen. So can we have solar canteen, for instance?
So basically, the whole idea is buy local for local. So not only solar canteen. My dream is that the solar panel should be sold from the kirana shops. This in kirana dukan se solar panel bikne lagenge, that you are just able to walk in and buy a panel of 10 watt and 20 watt and 100 watt. That is when the energy Swaraj, I will say that energy Swaraj has come. So buy local for local means it has to be locally available. Absolutely right.
Okay, one more suggestion has come. Now that the governments are revising school syllabus, it might be a good idea to incorporate and make young children aware of these projects or these facts. They are quick learners. They already know how to log into Zoom and more responsible than our generation. So have you thought anything about this?
Yes, very much. I keep saying that जो लोग 50-60 साल की उम्र के हैं, उनको धरती पे 20-30 साल ही और रुकना है, वो चले जाएंगे. जो बच्चे हैं 10-15 साल के, उनको 60-70-80 साल रहना है इधर, and they are going to be more serious about their future because they have to spend longer time on this planet, isn't it? Right. So they are definitely going to listen. And yes, bringing into the government curriculum, but we are also, is also launching what is called the Energy Swaraj clubs and Energy Swaraj ashrams. And academic actually can start Energy Swaraj clubs. In fact, yesterday itself, we have inaugurated one Energy Swaraj club in one college. So these clubs can actually start all this activity on their own. We would be happy to help in whatever technical content required. So we don't have to wait for the government to come and make policies and the curriculum and all. We can start immediately.
Yeah, I think this Energy Swaraj Club is a brilliant idea, and I would request some of our youth service directors from various clubs that we can try to integrate our Rotaract and Interact format to also accommodate this Energy Swaraj Clubs. I think that should be last. And let me try to pick up a last question because there are already a lot of questions and we can continue to talk about this. Availability of solar cells and panels. Do you have any guidance or any inputs on that?
Yeah, so the availability of solar cells and panels is enough in the country. I mean, I would say there's a lot. I mean, you would say that the panels manufacturing capacity of the country is almost in the range of about 4 to 5 gigawatt. Means 5,000 megawatt of panel is being manufactured. the solar cell manufacturing capacity is around 2000 megawatt, which is good, which is not good, but not sufficient for the country's need. But the problem is there is nobody who makes silicon as a material, and that is unfortunate part. And we keep missing the bus every decade, and we keep talking about it. And last 2 decades, I have seen how the government is not able to actually push it as a policy measure. So except the silicon manufacturing, there is a availability of cell and module manufacturing. Bangalore is one of the hubs for manufacturing. Hyderabad is another hub. Delhi, Gurgaon area is another hub where there are many companies who are manufacturing cells and modules.
Uttam Chandra from 3190, it's just a thing from him that Rotary can be your local partner as you are trying to reach these 1 billion people.
Yeah, thank you very much. Not only local partner, as I said in the beginning, I would like in the whole movement, Rotary to be a national partner or even a global partner, because as I said, the movements cannot be created by few people or 1,000 people. We need millions and millions of people. So I would really request, and I requested Manojji already, whether we can have a national level or global level partnership so that we can push this movement. Sure. And we are running out of time, by the way. We are already too late, and we are running out of time, and we should do it immediately.
Yes. Our vocational service director, Dr. Radhakrishna, has already taken it up, and you will hear very soon from us.
Great.
With that, I would wind up the questions now. Any additional questions, people can reach out to me, or I can connect to Dr. Chetan. And Dr. Chetan, I'm sure you are available to answer the questions on email later on.
Absolutely.
So thank you very much.
And for the 2nd October, anybody want to coordinate it locally, just go to our website, energyswaraj.org, and there is a link on the top, SSA, Student Solar Ambassador. The 2nd October event is called Student Solar Ambassador 2020. Click there. You can become one of the registered organization. Your local district club can become the registered organization, and then you start promoting it. So that if you become a local registered organization, the certificate that goes to the participant will also bear your own logo also. So you become the co-host for that particular area or region. So you can do it right now also. That is available right now.
Wonderful. That's a great moment. Can I now move forward and invite Rotarian Amit to introduce our chief guest today? Rotarian Amit, you have to unmute yourself.
Hi, sir. Good evening, everybody. So thanks a lot, sir. Very nice presentation. At the same time, we have another speaker today is Mr. Hemant Sharma. Hemant Sharma, born in the year 1951 in the village of Iglas in UP. Hemant, on completing his schooling, graduated from the University of Allahabad in engineering, started his professional career with Tosniwal, Orient Cements India, Indorayon Indonesia, and later on joined Asian Brown Boveri, is also called ABB, at Singapore, and handled various functions like project management, business development, and country operations. Elevated to the position of CEO, was posted in Indonesia till 2013. After a successful professional career spanning 40 years, returned to India to settle down in Bangalore. In 2014, due to the passion for environment, co-founded EcoSolar solar solution and integrated rooftop solar power system by using latest technology. EcoSolar incubated in Sunlit Future, arrival in 2011 with a vision to provide sustainable energy solution for all by providing latest technology and good quality. Work together with Sunlit Future for joint R&D and supply chain. So far, more than 350 plus roofs PV systems are installed by EcoSolar and over 300 solar water pumps together with Sunlight Future. This interest led to find ways of serving the community at large. 4 years back, joined Rotary Bangalore Yalanka Club and started service in a modest way. Subsequently, had an urge to service the 17 villages in and around Rajankunti, where he lives. This led to the formation of Rotary Bangalore Oasis along with chartered member. The objective shall be laid down by Rotary International. Mr. Hemant Sharma is married to Ms. Suchita, a homemaker, and is blessed with 2 children. A daughter is a chartered accountant and based in the US, and son, who holds a master degree from the US and presently handling the operation at EcoSource Solar. We wish the best of luck in his new endeavor. Over to sir.
Can I take, sir? So, first of all, thank you very much, Rotary and Amit. Such a nice introduction and really flattered me. It's my pleasure and honor to talk about solar in presence of such a person like Dr. Solanki. He's an inspiration for a lot of engineers, entrepreneurs, including us. And I'm taking a little bit liberty to tell about his journey. He has survived in 2 generations. And why I call him, and I feel myself very young, and I'll tell you why. I can see a lot of virtual smile on the faces. He left Texas because I know him a little bit, and I read book and met him a couple of times. And in 1991, when solar was alien, nobody knows solar, and solar was not at all solution economically in any way, technically. Then he, at that time, cost of the solar production, if I'm not wrong, and Dr. Solanki may correct me, is around 200.
Rajaram, can we show the award meanwhile?
And then, can I continue, Dr.
Yeah.
Rotary?
Yeah.
Manoj?
Yeah.
And most important is not that survival is like, it makes a lot of relevance what he's talking about it. He touched many subjects, and I think I'm not qualified to touch many subjects, but I will take only one subject, decentralized solar system. That makes a lot of sense to Rotary and in general, and vocational service in particular. I will take this and go a little bit more in detail to that. It has far-reaching implication of making communities self-reliant, self-sufficient, strengthening through this type of concept. Concept is very simple, that where you produce and use it. And this was a little bit misunderstood by, I don't want to mention the government and other thing. They cover this all targets by just providing the solar part where we have a 20% or 30% losses during transmission. And that's a little bit a challenge which we have now. This horrible, where we started this journey and exactly where he's landing, like we were first doing lantern. And in 2011, I was not there at that part of it. And we went to the lot of NGOs project in Spiti, in Himachal Pradesh and other places. And 2014, when I came back from Singapore, I joined this journey and we move it here. What is the status of this? Because we don't have a time to go in this. It's a decentralized means where you generate and use it. There's so many solutions are there, off-grid, and I'm seeing a lot of questions coming up. And I will be very happy to share that what is off-grid, on-grid part of it. The status at this moment, decentralized, is very, very bad, very sad, I should say. Just to give you a little bit figure that we are targeted around 20 gigawatt on the rooftop, if we call it. And this out of 20 gigawatt, we have only reached to the 4 to 5 gigawatt. Because that, and I personally feel, and I think Dr. Solanki also will agree with me, till this will become like a solar water system, solar heating system, will not be successful when everyone started asking that I want to have this. Then only it will be successful, this whole journey, what they have at different targets. So what is the challenge we are having? Why it is so? And after coming back, when I joined this journey, I started realizing that, are we clear? Are we really want this? Government really want it. We are facing a problem and we are being considered as a for that part of it. So a lot of issues are there we are solving out, and I have to say that Karnataka government is far ahead than that. Then trend is also changing. A lot of questions came about on-grade and this thing. I am seeing a change in also, Dr. Solanki, for your information, that in particular Karnataka, people are asking us to provide the off-grid system, which was keeping them away from us due to lead-acid battery. So lithium-ion battery is also can be affordable now, cost to run, not of course a little bit high. Still, a lot of things are there which we can do. So what we are planning to do, and why I'm sharing this EcoSoch particularly, this is a one classic case where we can implement. When I joined this organization, I was very upset, and I don't want to be making a 1 kilowatt system to 100 kilowatt, 10 kilowatt, and I say that you'll never make it. But now when I look back, we are going each and every houses. We do a lot of webinars, we do assembly to promote this idea. I will talk to a little bit about the and little bit about the Rotary. Rotary is also, particular 3190 is also doing a bit of it. Is run by Rotarian Ramesh, who is also heading this, a small council, we call it Renewable Energy Council. And exactly, Dr. Solanki, what you are doing, and we have also planned it at that time at around 50,000 lantern. And our intention or our aim was to go to the villages, supply to the BBMP, and this is not driven by EcoSoch. It's all done by that group. Unfortunately, because of COVID and other things also come. I work with Dr. PMR and some other projects also, and this is the ideal case where we can take this issue further. Let me talk about Swaraj actually, and Dr. Solanki has done it, and fantastic. Congratulations, sir. Really appreciate that and salute you. The energy you are driving to make it happen. I don't know what way we can be a part of it. We will talk a little bit internally, and also Dr. PMR, how we can do that. The concept is very good. And we are still working on different NGOs and other things, so we can also help you. With that, I just, I can talk along, but I just finished that one here. And once again, thank you very much, Dr. Rotarian Manoj Kavre, other people allow me to tell about it. And most important is to listen Dr. Solanki after a long time. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much. And this is the Rotary Vocational Excellence Award, Dr. Solanki, that is being conferred upon you by Dr. Hemant Sharma, by Mr. Hemant Sharma.
Okay. So can I stand or something, or I can?
No, it's okay. You can do it.
Rotary District 31, Dr. So, and Rotary Bangalore, Whitefield Central, jointly present this Rotary Vocational Excellence Award to Dr. Chetan Singh Solanki. He's a professor, which you know. He's also founder of the Energy Swaraj Solution. In recognition of excellence achieved in his chosen field of vocation and contributing to the good of the society for Jan Vaidya, Vocational Diversity. Thank you very much, sir. It's my pleasure to present this award on the behalf of Rotary Bangalore, Whitefield Central, and the jointly with Besto. Thank you very much, sir. Thanks. Please accept that.
Thank you very much.
Thank you so much. It is really my honor and pleasure to accept this award. Thank you very much.
Over to Dr. Manoj.
Rajaram, can we proceed, please? We have one announcement to be made by Rotarian Mark. from Udyog, the solar chair. Can I request? No, before that, Rajaram, before that, Rotary and Mark from Udyog has one minute announcement to be made. Can I request Rotary and Mark?
Sure, Manoj.
Can you unmute yourself, Rotary and Mark? Girish? Can you hear me, Girish?
Yeah, Manoj, I can hear. I think Mark, I think he lost his communication probably.
Okay, we'll proceed.
He had an announcement that he is a green chairman for district.
Okay.
So he has plans of planting trees in and around Karnataka. So anybody who has a place or where they want to plant trees, so we can donate many plants and trees, and we can come forward to do this. So anybody is interested, have a place so that we can donate trees, and then we can have a tree plantation program. So this is what Mr. Mark wanted to announce. So please be in touch with Mark or with Udyog so that we can take this forward.
Thank you.
Thank you.
So can I request Dr. PMR, sir, to talk about
good evening.
The new.
Good evening. Greetings on behalf of District Governor Nagendra Prasad and District Vocational Service team. Excellent presentation, Dr. Chetan Singh Solanki. I got in touch with you, and the result is that this kind of presentation and lot of possibilities coming out of this. And as mentioned in the chat box, we are willing to take up some of the projects that you are developing into the community and convert that into micro enterprises. And I'm very happy to announce we have done 7 different speakers we have got so far, touching upon different aspects, all connected to circular economy kind of principles. We had speakers on green technology, space technology, natural farming, now today solar energy. We had somebody talking on more crop per drop from Israel, and we are upcoming speakers are in the area of alternative protein sources, etc. We are trying to cover at least 12 to 14 different aspects, which is focusing on society and the community. So we are announcing, it's not just hearing these things, we want to take this into action. Manoj was telling about people of action. So we want to convert this into Jnana Vaividya Yojana. That means 12 to 14 speeches. We are going to have at least 12 to 14 projects, not only coming from District 3190, because we had guests from all over the world. We would like to be in touch with them, networking with them, and do a bigger project, but all local projects. So that's what we want to do. So hereby announcing the launch of Jnana Vaividya Yojana. And Dr. Chetan, as Manoj said, we are in touch with Rotary India for setting up collaboration with Energy Swaraj Foundation. I hope we can do India-wise cooperation, maybe world-wise also, if this clicks at this particular point. Maybe we would like to have a web conference in a day or two so that we can get in touch with you and connect you to the right people. Thank you. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thank you, Dr. PMR. And Rajaram?
Thank you, Manoj. Thank you, Professor Dr. Chetan Singh Solanki. You have very well articulated that what is energy sustainability, how it is important in the present climate change stuff. It is sad to know about our Earth overshoot crisis, and we are keep consuming our future generations' resource. You have very well articulated. It is like a very alarming. I hope you have enlightened all of us, and then let us try to switch over to solar energy as you suggested. And thanks a lot for taking your time and educating us. And my special thanks to our district team, DG Nagendra Prasad, and District Vocational Director, Rotary Dr. Radhakrishna, District IT team, and Rotary Devadasan sir, and the entire RWBC team. I thank Rotarian Nitin Garg for introducing the speaker, and Rotarian Amit for introducing our today's chief guest, Rotarian Hemant Sharma. And also I'd like to thank Rotarian Hemant Sharma for providing the Vocational Service Excellence Award to the speaker. Today we have launched a new program, Jnana Vaibhitya Yojana. It is very inspiring. Thank you, Dr. Radhakrishna, for your guidance and support on this entire thing. Let us make the change in people's life. I would like to thank all the guest clubs today: Rotary Nasik Grape City, Rotary Bangalore RMB Center, Rotary Vijayawada Midtown, Rotary Mysore Brindavan, Rotary Bangalore Pinia, Rotary Bangalore Jalahalli, Rotract MES, Rotract Mysore, Rotract MCC Bangalore, and Rotary Bangalore Udyog. Your presence made the difference. Thanks a lot for your support. I would also like to thank all the Rotarians and Synods, non-Rotarians for joining today's webinar. It is like your presence made the difference. At this moment, I would like to take the opportunity to invite to all of you to become a Rotarians and participate in all the Rotary related events and make the changes in someone else's life. Before we close the session, I would like to provide you the details about the next session. It is about blockchain technology in the economic transactions. It is on September 22nd. As you know, this is like conducted every Wednesday in 6:30 p.m. Blockchain technology economic transactions is done by two speakers. One is Dr. Damodaran, and he is a professor in IIM Bangalore, and Mr. Anuj Theran, and senior principal Accenture Ventures. I would look forward to see you all next week, and thank you for joining today and make this event very, very memorable and successful. Thank you.
Thank you so much.
Extremely sorry for taking 10 additional minutes, but thank you very much. It was worth the time spent. Thank you very much, Dr. Chetan, once again. And please convey thanks to Nikita, your colleague, who helped us to organize this.
Sure, I will convey. Thank you.
Thank you.
Have a good day. Thank you. Have a good day.
Thank you, everyone.